vlog, said the vlog, said I'm just the vlog.
Why people
we want him in
put
now?
stuff online.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You know, why they put stuff online. Like, if you are going to get caught somewhere or another, if you're doing something wrong, you are going to get caught online.
Good to see you.
How you doing, man?
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Remember Randy?
Hi,
how are you? Of course, hello.
Kelly, nice
How are
to
you?
meet you.
I'm C, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking talk show host over here.
Right here. Hopefully we'll be doing more with you.
Like all day on that.
No, they tell fucking episodes.
You know what's funny? That was supposed to be a Richard Linklater interview, the director, because he did that, what's it called, Boyhood? And he was supposed to come in, and I didn't want to interview him. Advice like, we want you to interview him. So I'm like, okay. And then he canceled on me like 12 hours before because he had something in LA. So I wound up just calling Dave like that morning. I'm like, can you come in today? And he's like, yeah. So I'm just happy that episode actually happened. That was kind of like a tack-on episode.
Well, I thought it was cool. It's chill. You know what I mean? It's just like conversation, hanging out, which is not like anything else. No. The other show, I fucking heard the sex show.
Which
You're
one?
doing like advice?
Oh, the advice show. Yeah.
Is that not a regular thing?
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Okay.
I love it. You're like, I forgot about it, but it's everywhere.
Yeah. I didn't know what you meant, a sex show. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. I did it, what's it, Friday? Yeah, I did it Wednesday. I do it for my house now. I do it with ISDN just for that one show because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're done by, I guess, 10 o'clock.
I love an ISDN line.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But I couldn't do regular though. I couldn't go back and forth like in this type of setting with an ISDN.
Yeah.
But Kevin and Bean do that. There's a lot of guys that do that. Yeah. I forget.
Where do they broadcast from? Their home? They don't
one of them is in the studio at K-Rock, and one of them is in
on a regular basis
every day.
I did not know that.
Yeah, every day.
Where's the other one? Home?
Yeah, but he's like, he might be in Seattle or he's some weird place. Young Paul and Ron. One of those guys is there, and one is somewhere else.
I had no idea. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's a weird thing when it's regular.
So weird.
We only have an hour intro for you, okay?
That's three different.
Oh, it was different stuff. Okay.
Yeah, good,
listening to myself, I would really rather watch footage of myself kneeling in front of the Lakers.
Why? You're hilarious.
I just can't do it. I can't listen hard. It's humiliating. Yeah.
Jim Norton, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Norton is, of course, one of the best stand-up comics that does comedy right now. I sincerely mean that. And you've morphed yourself into quite the radio talent too, man. You started out with Opie and Anthony. Most of our listeners are super familiar, but for those who are not, you guys do a terrestrial radio for NBC in Boston and New York, and now in New York with Sirius Satellite Radio and XM. And now you're not only just doing the Opie and Anthony thing, which I want to ask you about because mine is Anthony these days.
Yes.
Opening Norton thing.
But you're doing like an advice show. I heard this last night. This is what I want to talk about first. I heard the advice show, the Jim Norton show is what you're calling it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same as the title of the Vice show, but it's also a relationship show on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's funny. That way it was on Sirius first, I think, the name Jim Norton Show. But I don't know what else to call it. We're going to call it, there's nothing worse than a funny name for it. I'm going to just call it Jim Norton Show. But I just
Jim Norton's Crazy Doghouse.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Norton helps you. Call in now, folks. Yeah, we thought it was going to be a goof, the whole thing. Like, I just kind of did it for extra money. I mean, because Sirius offered me more money to do the show. I'm like, I'll do it.
Right.
And people actually called up with real stuff. So it's like some of it I'm qualified for, some of it I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I tell them I have no idea what I'm talking. Like, I'm not married. I have no kids.
Right.
So I have no. My advice: just cheat, smother them. That's my advice. I don't know what to tell people, but it's fun to just talk to people.
I've gone through it, and you talk about it all the time. You know, addiction and recovery.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's cool. I think the thing that you're doing that is strong work is that you're talking to people that are addicts and people that maybe they don't have the courage to go to like 12-step program. You know, walk in the door and sit in that circle, because you know how it is, because it's hit or miss with AA or sex, you know, anonymous or whatever. It's hit or miss, you know what I mean? You go in and it could be a room where you are like, dude, this is for me. This is what I need. And then you're like, who are these losers?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
You walk in, have different feeling. But it's so funny. Like, the addicts that say that, they never say, like, is this for me? When they're, like, looking through a rug for, like, a last rock of coke. But it is odd. Like, when I first got sober, I was sitting in a church basement of a 12-step group, and I'm with these two guys eating cheese and crackers. And this is 1987, and they're talking about Imus in the morning.
Yeah.
And I remember wanting to blow my brains out. I was 18. I'm like, this stinks. Like, I'm gonna listen to these two zeros talking about this boring radio show. That's my life.
Right.
But I didn't, it's like when I was vomiting all over myself, or when I had, I couldn't maintain what you need to maintain when you have sex because I was too drunk.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to occur to me there that it was a problem. You know what I mean? It was always when people are getting sober, they're like, gee, I don't know if this was for me, but they never say that when they get their head in someone's lap for money in a car.
This is for me.
Yeah, hey, is this for all?
All right, so Jim Norton's also got a brand new Vice show, which is really sick. I love Vice. It's a channel on YouTube, of course.
We talk about it all the
website,
time.
They're really
vice.com.
good.
It is great reporting.
My manager, and it just rolled into, we shot something in May, and hopefully we're doing more. We just did 4.
You can tell when you're watching something from Vice, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, so it's got that, I don't want to
Feels
say,
rogue.
yeah, like hipsters, like almost like a negative word. It's so much better than anything else you see on CNN or anywhere else.
Well, they do appeal to hipsters, too, because they're in Williamsburg. I mean, like,
Right.
you
Yeah,
can't go to a more hipster place than where Vice is based. It's
Those
very
dudes can't carry anything in their
Well,
pockets.
like you
and
said,
No.
it's a
CNN,
mess.
CNN, they can be bought. They can do whatever side of the story that they're getting bought on. Where this guy, they are not. It's real.
Yeah.
You watch it and you're like, wow, it's amazing to see. To see them with ISIS was the craziest.
I
thing.
didn't see that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was this before or after ISIS's, let's just say, rise to popularity?
Yeah,
was
right.
good.
Yeah, they really get access to places I wouldn't go. I mean, once they got Dennis Rodman into North Korea,
Right.
that
That's
said a lot about
crazy.
the connection that these guys have.
Yes.
Or I've seen Shane interviewing the Taliban. You ever see that when he's in Afghanistan,
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
talking
yeah.
to a high? I'm like, dude, why are you doing that? Like, you're a real target. You got money.
He's in their tents because they're trying to hide too, the Taliban.
Well, I imagine in one of those situations, as soon as the cameras go off, you're like, what about those Jews? What the hell are they doing? Oh, boo! Israel, P.U. I don't even refer to it as Israel. I call it Palestine.
What's going on with the Opie and Anthony show, man? I mean, there's a lot of people very disappointed.
Yeah.
Of course,
There is no show anymore.
Anthony.
Right?
Well, Opie and I are still doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing Opie.
Anthony is. It sucks. I mean, it's one of those things that just, if it happened on the air, either A, it would have been diffused
Yeah.
because we all would have been talking, or B, we all would have been fired. I don't know what would have happened with that because everybody is so scared of any type of like race controversy. And this is why I hate the press. Like, look, I wish Anthony would have said certain things better because he's, I think he was so angry. You say too many things in a row that are mixed and mashed, and the water gets very muddy. And it was just, I wish he would have tweeted a little bit more, thought more before he said certain things. But that said, the press makes me sick to my stomach because the narrative they take is, oh, he said racist things, but they don't take the narrative of, he really did have the right to punch this woman in the face, and he didn't. He did have a handgun, and he walked away.
Yeah.
Like, he behaved totally nonviolently. He walked away from a violent situation.
And the handgun permit is really hard to obtain in the state of New York.
But yeah, it's almost impossible, and he's a big NRA guy, and it's a totally legal. Everything is totally above board, and he walked away. People are like, well, he should have, but yeah, he did. How many people don't walk away? Look what happened with, again, Ray Rice. That's what happens with a violent confrontation. A woman spits on you, you punch her in the face.
Martin.
Yeah, Trayvon Martin. Those things get violent very fast. With Anthony, it didn't happen. He walked away, and the press took. And look, serious. These guys are just executives. They're not used to Page 6 calling them. Going, what do you think of this? They're like,
Right,
what do you mean? Your guys say racist things. Comment. They're not used to that.
And that was because I was up in the mountains that weekend. It was 4th of July weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Randy and I, we went, her family has like a river house, and we went up there to just kind of chill out. And so I don't get cell phone service. So the whole weekend, I kind of heard about it, and I was like, oh, that can't be right. Because, you look at Opie and Anthony, and you think, from my point of view, those are some of the personalities that are untouchable. Oh, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to get rid of those guys. And then you hear that they actually fired one of them.
Yeah.
It was shocking. I was like, whoa.
What's the name of the show now?
They're going to call it, we don't know. I'm saying, like, call it the Opie show. I don't want it to be Opie and Jim, because that was Anthony's seat. Like, I'm not going to jump into my friend's
That was pretty
grave.
big too, man. I mean, there's a lot of respect for that. That's a good move.
You're
Yeah.
like, what about Norton and Opie?
Nah, it would be too awkward. Norton and anything is not a winner.
Right.
You never went to Norton. You never want to bet your... Norton is not the horse you want to bet on. Fight. It never got to a point on air where they were going to walk away.
Right.
But I mean, apparently when I was brought on, this is what an imperceptive ass I am. when I was brought on in like around 2000, 2001, they were fighting badly. And I didn't even notice it, but they were just talking to me on the air and not each other. And Opie told me that, and I'm like, I didn't even notice. I was so stupid at that time. So yeah, they had gone through their ups. It's like any, like, you know, a married couple.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have your friction. And
You joined the show at BCN in Boston, or
no, I joined the show before they were ever syndicated. It was, you know, NEW was the only market. So people that hated me on I love when people in Philly hated me on this show. Like, I remember when it was just Opie. No, you don't, stupid. Because it was never on in Philly. You don't remember that. You hate me, fair enough, but don't act like you. You know, Jason, I always liked, and he took shots at the show, and it was, like, I don't know if it was directly at Opie and Anthony, but saying like I'm the biggest show or something.
Right.
And like, it started when he had thanked Howard in his book.
Okay.
Like, thanks to Howard Stern, and he didn't mention Opie and Anthony. And it was like, I get that you love Howard, but it's like, dude, O and A are the guys that put you on their channel. Like, Opie loved him, and a lot of the listeners didn't like Jason, but you know, it's like he kind of grew on them after a while. It was just one of those things where Opie really believed in him, and it was like, nobody cares if you praise Stern. No, you know, it's like we're not delusional about the fact that Howard is a very, very important guy in radio. But at least thank those guys too, because they took care of you. One time, you know, Anthony would just occasionally just snap, and when Anthony went all in, it was frightening. As you could see on Twitter.
Right. And that's what I wondered, if it's like dealing with somebody who's under character all the time, you know?
Maybe that was what it was. I mean, we had him on a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It was always a good interview. He was always fine. He would come in, and he was cool in studio. I don't know exactly if he feels the need to do that. The last time I saw him was actually the Apollo. Sirius has this thing where they have artists at the Apollo who had never performed there before.
Okay.
So I got to see McCartney and Springsteen there, and Metallica did the
Wow.
Apollo.
Wow.
So I saw Jason, and I didn't recognize him because he shaved his head now. He's got like tattoo, like he's got these weird tattoos on his head, and he actually looks like a guy who would rape me in prison.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sure he probably could too. He's a fighter.
Aggressive.
But we were pleasant with each other. It was hello, how I hate to keep saying pleasant like I'm like my aunt. But that's how these things are. I can't talk to him any different. I mean, he was fine. We said hi and we chatted.
And the limit cookies.
Yeah, he told me you look good. I said, you know, I'm taking care of me today, Jason. Really, you should all spit in my face. Nobody would. But he was fine, dude. It was. I hate when these things happen, but they do happen, and I get very defensive of the radio show because those guys changed my life. So when it's like, there's not a rivalry with Stern to the point of people don't praise Howard. Nobody cares if you praise. But it's like, if you're going to be like that way, go on other radio shows and kind of compare yourself to O and A and say I'm bigger. It's like, why?
Yeah.
That's just like it's like 1991 thinking. You don't have to do that.
Right.
So do you and Opie plan to stay at Sirius Satellite?
If they offer us good money, I will stay. Yeah, I'm a prostitute. I like to make money. I'm caught because there's no competition between Opie and Anthony. Like I am like, again, I'm like a child with two alcoholic parents.
Right.
And this one was not even their fault. The state took daddy away.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I really want them back together because I'm comfortable with Opie, I'm comfortable with Anthony, but it's like I miss my friend.
Is there a chance that if something doesn't work out there, you could join him?
Of
on
course,
his podcast?
absolutely. The problem with Anthony's podcast is he's an hour away.
Yeah, right. We talked about that off air. It's a $50,000 room he made
It's a massive room.
in his house.
Joe Rogan has said publicly that the reason he does his podcast is because of Anthony.
Yeah.
He saw Anthony set up at his house with a green screen, and he's like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And he did his podcast. So Ant has a tremendous setup.
He's an hour away.
And more than an hour. I mean, with no traffic, it's 50 minutes. With traffic, it's an hour and 25 or an hour and 30. So he would have to come into the city because it's just too much back and forth for an afternoon. But podcasts are not a joke anymore. You can do very well on a podcast.
Can we say that you said Anthony was making maybe more money? doing
Yeah, I
his-
think he's actually doing better now.
It's unbelievable.
What?
in his
Gotta
own
love
house,
to
not,
fall up,
not
man.
driving anywhere, just going downstairs in his pajamas talking,
It really
making
is-
more money than going to work.
It scares me too, because Anthony loves to tip back some drinks. So he's just waking up, drinking, doing his show. Like, he's living the life he wants to live.
life.
In fairness, I mean, he's got a mansion in Long Island. He has young girls there all the time. You know, these 20-year-olds in bikinis at his pool. Like, his life doesn't suck. I mean, it really does. With I went to his house.
A lot.
He had a 50 cal on his dining room table. He had a 50 cal weapon. I'm like, you're a sociopath. He loves guns.
Six
man.
20-year-olds to breed. It's just great.
Dude, he really, really is an animal, and that's the guy he is, and that's the life he's leading. He's having a good time. I'll say that. Like, and I talked to him off the air a lot when this whole thing went down, and he was like, "Eff it, I'm gonna do it from here, man. I'm just gonna go on." He's not a guy who just cry. He just picks up and he moves on. He's
That's
not
an
a guy who just-
example, man. That's like fighters. So, you know, when you get a loss, especially guys that lose for the first time, you see who is the strong and who are the weak, because the weak people break. The other guys go to the gym and learn what the hell happened and how can I prevent that and how can I be better for the next time.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he did. he upped his game, and that's respectful. I kind of feel the same thing that you're doing is in the same vein right now. You have this incredible momentum. My philosophy is life is about momentum, and when you embrace that momentum, it's not, oh, how much are you going to get? It's how much can you handle.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's more for you coming up, man. You got the Vice show, you got 2 radio shows. What would you like to do next if you could just pick something?
I want the Vice show to continue because we did 4. They did very well, and the company liked them. So my ideal thing is I want to shoot another hour special. I've been ready to shoot for months. I want to just get rid of this hour, and I want to have the Vice show be a regular weekly show. Like, that's what I want. Those are the 2 things I want right now. Because that show was so much fun because it was like it's a free-form hang.
Yeah.
I got to talk about to real things to these guests who I wanted to talk to. So that's what I want to do is a talk show. I love doing that little dumb monologue and then hang out with guests. That's what I want, and I want the radio show to continue.
Dude, that's
Thanks very much.
legitimately, and I'm going to be at the show tonight.
Oh, good, man.
Yeah,
Glad you're coming.
for sure.
Good.
But last, Jim Norton.
Thank you very much.
And ladies, you're still a perv, right? So
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm on Tinder and I'm striking out horribly.
Tinder. We talked about Tinder. Yes. You swipe left or right?
I swipe right to anything. Well, anything.
Maybe you should try Pinterest. We hear people are getting laid on Pinterest.
What's Pinterest?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Is that like pine interest? Is that what it's called? Pinterest. That's Pinterest. I've been mispronouncing it. Pinterest.
It's a tree club.
Yeah. Tinder's depressing.
Is it?
What was the other? There's a new
No,
Tinder.
it's a gay one.
Yeah, but what was it?
Grindr.
Grinder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm on
No,
Grindr.
we met a gay guy. This gay guy comes up. He's a friend of our friends, and we were at this festival, and he comes up and nice guy, and he's like, oh my god, it's fucking scoring on the grinder, and I'm like, what the fuck is the grinder?
He's like, I got a BJ.
Yeah, no, yeah. This guy came over. He didn't know it. He hung out with him, and then the guy left. Came back 5 minutes later to suck. Like came back. I'm like, no chick does that.
No,
you know
that's
what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Those sites were made for gay men because they're guys. I mean,
They're
guys.
guys.
I mean, women
That,
are a little
the
more.
That and the Olympic Village.
Literally.
Oh, no. All right, guys. Thank you. I gotta go.
All right, cool,
Thanks
man.
for having me. I appreciate
Wait,
it.
can I?